He said it was to protect me, but the truth was way worse than any monster. My name is Alex, and until I turned 17, I hadn't seen the outside world since I was 9. It started the night my mom vanished. I remember sitting at the dinner table, my legs dangling off the edge of the chair, swinging back and forth. Dad was pacing the room, glancing at the front door every few seconds. I asked where Mom was, and he told me she had gone away for a while. His voice trembled. He wouldn't meet my eyes. That night, he led me downstairs into our unfinished basement and told me we were playing a game. He called it the survival game, said we had to hide from them, no further explanation. He had already built a makeshift room, complete with a bed, a small fridge, a toilet, and even a little TV that only played DVDs. At first, I thought it was cool. An adventure. Then he locked the door. Days turned to weeks. Weeks turned to years. I had food, books, movies. But I had no sunlight. No interaction with anyone else. Every day, Dad would come down, give me food, talk for a bit, then leave. I asked when the game would end. He always said, soon, when it's safe. As the months dragged on, I stopped asking. Something in his eyes scared me. He looked haunted, like he was hiding something not just from me, but from himself. One day, when I was around 14, I heard shouting upstairs. A woman's voice, screaming my name. Then silence. The next day, Dad told me I'd imagined it. But I hadn't. I was sure of it. After that, he changed. He stopped bringing me books. He stopped talking. Sometimes he'd be gone for days. I started rationing food. My body was thinning out. I stopped growing. My hair got long, my fingernails brittle. I was losing track of time, but I never forgot that scream. Then one night, 3 years later, I heard a different sound. A click. The door. It opened. I didn't know whether to run, cry, or scream. But when I stepped out, what I saw wasn't freedom. It was hell. The house was in ruins. Windows shattered. Furniture overturned. The walls were covered in newspaper clippings, strings, photos. Obsession plastered over every surface. And one word was scribbled everywhere. Traitor. And under a photo of my mother, in red paint. She lied. That was the moment I realized my dad hadn't been trying to protect me. He had been trying to protect himself. My legs trembled as I stepped through the doorway into a husk of what used to be our home. Dust hung in the air like fog, and the floor creaked beneath my weight. My heart pounded, not from excitement, but from confusion. And fear. I called out, Dad. But the house didn't answer. He was gone. The place reeked of mold and something worse, like metal and rot. I hadn't smelled anything but my basement air for years, and the world hit me like a punch in the lungs. I wandered the house slowly, barefoot and dazed. Every room was a disaster. Torn books, shattered dishes, empty bottles. And photos. Hundreds of them. Mostly of me. Some from when I was younger. Some I didn't even remember being taken. I found one of me sleeping in the basement. Oh. But the most terrifying ones were of my mom. Some were old family photos. But others were surveillance style. Grainy, taken from far away. A grocery store. At a bus stop. With another man. Each photo had something scribbled on it. Liar, thief, he'll never know. Some had full sentences. Like a madman's journal, she took everything. She made me do it. She'll pay. I was shaking. Then I found the recorder. It was buried beneath a pile of newspapers in the living room. A dusty old voice recorder with a cracked button. I pressed play. Static. Then his voice. Day 1, I've done it, she's gone. I had to protect him. He doesn't know what she really is, what she did. I skipped ahead. Day 152, he asks about her. Every damn day, I keep lying. What else can I do? He's too young to understand betrayal. Another skip. Day 947, he heard her. She came back, screaming his name like she still has a right. I told him it was a dream. He's starting to ask too many questions. Then a final one. Day 2893, it's almost over. He's old enough now. If he sees the truth, maybe he'll forgive me, maybe he'll hate her too. Either way, he'll know. The file ended with the sound of a door unlocking. He wanted me to find this. He planned for me to find this. I don't remember falling to my knees, but I remember the pain in my hands as I crawled toward the front door. Locked. Boarded shut from the inside. I ran to the back. Tame. He had trapped me in the house now. No longer the basement, the entire house was my prison. And then I saw it. Out the window. A man in a hoodie. Just standing there. Watching. He lifted his phone, snapped a photo of me, and walked away. I didn't know him. But somehow he knew me. And worse, I had the horrible realization. I wasn't supposed to leave the basement. He let me out. Because something worse was coming. I barely slept that night. I curled up on the living room floor, surrounded by dust, shattered glass, and madness. Every time I shut my eyes, I saw that man's face. Lank. watching me like a scientist observing a rat in a maze. I thought about breaking a window, screaming for help, doing something, but this house wasn't in any neighborhood I recognized. The view outside showed only trees. No other homes. No road. Just forests and a narrow dirt path leading out into the dark. At dawn, I found more Dad's notebooks. Dozens of them stacked inside the closet where my childhood toys used to be. Only now they were filled cover to cover with ramblings, paranoia, diagrams, newspaper articles about missing people, photos of women, and one name circled over and over, Project Hermes. It meant nothing to me, until I opened the bottom drawer. Inside was a metal box with a USB drive and a single sticky note that said, "Play this if I disappear, and don't trust anyone, especially her." I didn't know what to believe anymore, but I found an old laptop that still worked, powered it up, and plugged in the USB. There were videos. Not of me. Not of my mom. Experiments. Children in cages. Wires in their arms. Screening. A voice narrating clinical observations. Subject 12 exhibiting cognitive spikes. Subject 19 exhibiting resistance. Subject 7 terminated. Moving to next phase. Each child had a number. No names. Then I saw her. My mother. In a lab coat. Giving instructions. Laughing. I couldn't breathe. Was this real? Was this some twisted movie Dad had created to justify everything? I watched in horror as she injected a boy no older than 6 and calmly noted, "We'll double the dosage tomorrow. He's responding well to auditory hallucinations." I paused the video. Vomited. If this was true, then Dad wasn't insane. He was hiding me. Protecting me. From her. I stared at my reflection in the cracked laptop screen, hands trembling, my face pale and foreign to me after all these years underground. I had hated him. But maybe I was wrong. Then the door creaked. Not the basement door. The front door. I turned slowly. Heart pounding. It was open now. The board's gone. Standing in the doorway was my mother. Older. Wan. But still her. She smiled like nothing had ever happened. "Hi, sweetheart," she whispered. "I've missed you." My mouth opened but no words came. I was frozen. Because behind her, just barely visible in the tree line, the man in the hoodie was back. Smiling, holding something in his hand, a syringe, and then, blackness. I woke up strapped to a bed, not a hospital bed, as something colder. Metal. Restraints bit into my wrists and ankles. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. The smell was sterile, chemical wrong. Panic surged through me as I fought against the straps, but I was too weak. My head pounded. My veins burned. Something had been injected into me. Again. Footsteps echoed outside the room. A sliding door hissed open. She walked in. My mother, wearing the same lab coat from the video. I stared at her in disbelief. My voice cracked. Why are you doing this?" She smiled, soft practice, motherly. Like I was a child again asking for a bedtime story. "Oh, baby, you really don't remember, do you?" She sat beside me, brushed my hair back. I flinched. "You were born for this," she said. "Literally, you're subject zero, the prototype. You were never supposed to live a normal life, but your father, he went rogue, stole you away, hid you from us." Her smile twitched. Her voice dropped. "He killed 3 of our people to escape. You have no idea what that did to the program." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "I'm your son," I spat. "Not a science experiment." Her eyes narrowed. "No, you're more than a son. You're the first successful neural-override subject. You survived trials that destroyed everyone else. We watched you in that basement, every reaction, every emotion. Your father thought he was protecting you, but he was feeding us data the entire time." She turned the tablet toward me. It showed the basement. Live feed. Different angles. From inside the walls. My stomach twisted. They'd always been watching. "I thought he was crazy," I whispered. "He was," she snapped. "But useful, until he got too unstable. We tried to retrieve you gently, but he got paranoid, violent. We had to end it." I choked on the air. "You killed him?" She didn't answer. Instead, she leaned in close and said, "We're going to fix you now, finally finish what we started. Don't worry, you won't remember a thing once we reset your core patterns." Tears welled in my eyes. My heart thundered. Then the alarms blared. Red lights flashed. A voice over the intercom. "Security breach, Sector D, unauthorized entry." My mother stood up sharply, swearing under her breath. She barked something into a walkie-talkie and stormed out of the room. I looked up at the ceiling. Camera. And then the screen went dark. A different face replaced the feed. It was my father. Bloody. Tired. Alive. "Alex," he said. "If you're seeing this," I got in, "I don't have much time. I couldn't save you from the first nightmare, but I can save you from what's coming." He pressed something off screen. Then the bed restraints unlocked. I was free. But I was inside a facility I didn't understand. And everyone here wanted me changed. The restraint snapped open with a hiss, and I bolted upright, nearly collapsing. My limbs were heavy, sluggish. Whatever they had injected was still in my system. But adrenaline pushed me forward. Dad's face had already vanished from the screen. It was replaced by static. I stumbled to the door. Locked. I scanned the room. A small metal panel on the wall was blinking green. I pressed it. The door slid open. Empty hallway. Cold. Wet. I crept out, barefoot and tile. Cameras lined the corners. I ducked under them, following the distant sound of alarms and distant shouts. The place was massive, endless corridors, doors labelled neural observation, path and storage, a subject disposal. I didn't want to know what was behind any of them. Then I turned the corner and saw him. My dad. Bleeding. Crouched over a fallen guard. Holding a keycard. He looked up. For a moment we just stared at each other. 8 years in the basement. 3 years apart. No words could fit what I felt. He stood slowly, face full of regret. "I'm sorry, Alex," he rasped. "I wanted to keep you away from all this, but I couldn't stop them alone." Tears blurred my vision. "You told me she left." "She did," he said. "She left her soul behind when she sold herself to this place." He tossed me the keycard. I caught it barely. "There's a freight elevator at the end of the south wing. It'll take you up through the woods. There's a car stashed there. You drive. Don't stop. Don't look back." I nodded, trembling. "What about you?" He turned away. "They won't stop until you're dead or plugged back into the system. I'm the only distraction that works." And before I could argue, he was gone, running toward the noise. I sprinted in the opposite direction, dodging doors, red lights flashing around me. Then a voice pierced the hallway. "Alex, stop." I froze. She stood there. My mother. Alone. No guards. "Hands out. You don't know what you are," she said gently. "You think this is about control? No, it's about survival. You are the bridge between mind and machine. You can reshape the world, but only if you stay. Let us finish the sequence." I backed away. "I'm not your project. You were never meant to be just my son," she said, stepping closer. "You're humanity's next leap. Please, let us save you." Then her eyes changed. Softness gone. Replaced with something cold. Mechanical. She wasn't pleading anymore. She was commanding. I ran. Sprinting, heart screaming in my chest. I reached the freight elevator and slammed the keycard into the panel. It opened. I jumped inside. Hit every button. As the elevator rose, I looked down one last time. She was standing at the bottom of the shaft. Smiling. Not angry. Not afraid. Just waiting. As if she knew this wasn't over. She lifted her hand. And mouthed the words. "You'll come back." The elevator doors opened into darkness. I stumbled out into the night air, the first real and scripted air I'd breathed in nearly a decade. Pine trees surrounded me. The moon hung like a pale coin in the sky. For a second, I stood still, just letting the wind touch my skin. Then I saw it, the car. Old, rusty, but real. I ran to it, started it with the key left under the mat, just like Dad said. The engine roared to life, and I peeled off down a dirt road that carved its way through the endless woods. My hands were shaking. I kept checking the rearview mirror like I expected her to appear in the back seat. She didn't. But something else happened. About 10 miles out, the radio came on. I hadn't touched it. "Hello again, Alex," a synthetic voice said. "Don't worry, this isn't your mother." I slammed my fist on the dashboard. "Get out of my head." "I'm not in your head," it replied calmly. "You're in mine." Suddenly, the engine died. The lights went off. The car rolled to a stop. I jumped out and started running again. Through the trees. Through the dark. The night felt wrong, like it was breathing. Whispering. And then, ahead, I saw lights. A cabin. Warm glow. Safe. I burst through the door and stopped cold. Inside was a small living room. One chair. One person sitting in it. Nay, but older. Sharper eyes. Calm posture. "About time," he said. I backed away. No. "You're not hallucinating," he said. "You made it out, but not all of you." I looked around. The walls were covered in symbols. Equations. Diagrams like the ones Dad used to draw. "You're the fail-safe," he explained. "A fragment of your mind the system couldn't purge. You're here because she let you go." My voice cracked. "Why would she let me go?" He stood. Same face. Same scars. Same haunted look. "Because she already won." He pointed to a mirror on the wall. I looked. My reflection glitched. Just for a second. My face shimmered like static. "I'm not real," I whispered. "You're not only real," he said. "You're the new code. You were never meant to escape. You were meant to be deployed. I collapsed to my knees. Everything had been a loop. The basement, the escape, the rescue, all of it a script. I had been tested, watched, modified, and now I was out, but I wasn't free. Because I wasn't human anymore. Not entirely. I left the cabin that night numb. I don't know how long I walked. Days. Weeks. But eventually I found a town. People. Life. And I pretended to be one of them. But sometimes, at night, when everything is quiet, I hear her voice in my dreams. You'll come back. And the worst part is, I think she's right.